Hello folks, welcome to today's live streamy goodness. Hope you're happy and enjoying life. Just deleting all the rubbish. Chance for the map to load. Looks like we are good to go. Oh, what was that? Literally just as I come out of the phone, it beeps. Might have been telling me that the stream is now live on the old Twitchy doodah. Let's have a look. See if it is. Should be. Yeah. There we go. We are live, folks. Right. What can I tell you about things? We have got lots going on. Got fertilising contract complete. Okay. Then just randomly part there. Having a look to see where all the vehicles are. We've got quite a lot of money all of a sudden as well. Let's have a look. I don't think anything's been added or removed. Again, I didn't play yesterday because I was doing other things. Right, I'm going to sleep because it's dark and I don't want to do farming in the dark. I'm guessing I can complete that contract then. That Mr. Helgi must have obviously started. Sleep 11 hours. Right then. So I'm going to have a run round, aren't I? Nothing's loading in. Ooh. Sunflowers are ready to harvest, are they? Oh, sunflowers have been harvested. Soybeans have been harvested. Oh no. Helgi's done that. That's why we've got so much money. Took my soybeans away from me. Now a barley. And obviously we've got the grass, which is ready to mow. I wonder if the corn harvest is ready then, or the canola harvest, possibly. Maybe. Could be going and doing that. I could be mowing the grass, making silage. How's the alfalfa that I planted the other day? How's that? That's growing nicely. Oh. That's growing nicely. We've got wheat on this field, so Mr. Helgie's replanted some wheat. Field 12 is not ours, and it's owned by Bernard Young. And then we've got our canola ready to harvest. Right, so that's what I'm going to be getting on with today then. Canola harvest and canola straw, obviously, will be a big thing to come out of this. Field 4 would also do with fertilising, cultivating and then reseeding. You know what? What is that? I've been modifying all the equipment. A lot. Yeah, this is the fancy John Deere spreader thing that I got to use last time. This thing is quick, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that last time. I used it when I used it on field 9 at the end of the last stream, but this thing is quick. I think it's as quick, if not quicker, than the big brute we've already got on the mod hub. I like this sprayer. I like the fact you can do fancy things with the boom, the boom as well, so you can actually like raise it up at the ends. So again, you're less likely to hit things, which I quite like. It's always good for me, not being able to hit hedges and trees. Three field 5s there up for grabs. I'm wondering if I should maybe invest in field 5. The reason I say that is because field 9 to me is not very appealing as far as crops planting, because it's a little bit awkward to get into the field to with a harvester, combine harvester, with the headers, and trying to get the header in the field is, because of the way the gate opens on field 9, it's a little bit iffy. I have to say, a little bit iffy. It's not necessarily a bad thing, because like I say, as soon as we get another field bought and owned, then field 9 can probably be just repurposed again as either grass or alfalfa, or, as I've already mentioned, could be our dedicated like tree growing area where we plant trees for chopping down and logging. To see how things go. I did notice today Mr. Stevie did released an update for the potato washer and potato steamer mods to fix an issue. However, thinking... Well, let's check then. That should be that whole field fertilised. Good. Good, good, good. Fold this up then. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's full of lime. That's what I was hoping would be the case. I was hoping we would be clever enough to dedicate the dry box as our lime spreader. And then the the sprayer as our fertiliser. Again, other people have their own personal choices, preferences on things. I personally just do not like emptying machines, and so like the fertiliser spreaders, I don't like emptying them when I want to put lime in them, and then emptying lime when I want to put fertiliser in them. I'd rather just have a machine dedicated for a specific job. So if I buy a fertiliser spreader, it's going to be for lime application. It's not going to be for fertiliser. I never use a fertiliser spreader for spreading fertiliser. I always use it for let's do some GPSage, shall we? A little bit smaller. There we go. Bit of cultivating. I'm not going to be able to go down that edge. So let's do this. We're going to do this edge just to give me the room to turn around at the end of the field. Because obviously there is a hedge and trees, and they do have collisions. Adjust this a little. Yeah, rocket along nicely. Hello, Mr. Helgi. Hello, good afternoon, sir. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted then. I was reading a message from Stevie. We've been having conversation today. Regarding maps and mods. Maps and mods. For anyone who hasn't been paying attention, there was a mod released on the Mod Hub this past week called Factories, which is basically a pack of placeable buildings that produce loads of wonderful items based on materials and stuff that you provide them. Anyone who watched our La Coronella server and our streams will recognise those buildings instantly as they are from that map. Basically, someone has made all those factories that produce the flour, the sunflower oil, the cheese, etc. Someone's made all those buildings as placeables, so you can use them on any map. Which sounds absolutely fantastic and amazing. To think that you could have all those wonderful items on any map. However, there's a slight downside to it, in the fact that the way the guy has made the map, the mod, for you to be able to use it, you've got to go and edit the map that you want to play on and add all the new items to the map. And you've got to do loads of editing to the map, which for 99% of players I think is just going to be something they're not going to do. Which means most people will never ever use this mod, never be able to use it, because they're not gonna have the know-how on how to edit the maps. They're probably not going to have the time or the patience to edit the maps to make the maps support the factories, so they're probably just not going to bother with it. Now for me, obviously, I've got a bit of time on my hands. I've got the bit of time, I've got a bit of modding know-how, and I was wondering, I wonder how difficult it would be to add support for factories to a map like this, because let's not forget, folks, this map here by Stevie has a whole load of areas on it for placeables, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if you could have like a cheese factory, or a flour factory, or a sunflower oil factory, or whatever else the mod adds. Wouldn't it be great if we could have those on this map? So I thought, well, before I start diving into too much playing around on my own, I would just speak to the man himself that knows a lot about map making. And I spoke to Mr. Stevie and said, you know, how difficult would it be to add support for this mod, the factories mod, to this map? And basically the message I got back from Stevie was, I wouldn't do it. It requires so much editing. It's not just a case of just copying across a few files and you know, editing a few lines of code with Notepad++. It requires Giants Editor, it requires lots of stuff. And then, of course, the big bombshell right at the end that Stevie dropped was, even if you did sit down and do it and go through all that process, the big problem would be you would have to start a new save. It wouldn't be save game compatible, because effectively you'd be running a completely different map. So I was like, yeah. For the purposes of a server, definitely not going to be worth doing. Certainly won't be making any changes to this map. Whether I decide in future to edit a map down the road, if there is one that we move to later on, I don't know. Would I do it for a single player map, for like a single player let's play? Again, I don't know, because I'm not really doing a lot of single player at the moment. Farm sim stuff. In fact, I haven't done any since my last No Man's Land video. I haven't even loaded up single player for a couple of weeks now. What you will notice, those of you who are subscribed to the YouTube channel, is that you will notice as of next week, starting on Monday, tomorrow, is that most of the live streams from this map that I've done so far will be appearing each day as YouTube videos. So if you didn't catch the streams first time around, or you want to be able to just watch the streams at your own pace, you know, if you just want to watch 15 minutes here and there and work your way through a stream, you will be able to do that. All the streams have been exported to YouTube. So every day next week, 9 o'clock in the morning, there'll be one of the previous streams that we've done on this map. Also, every day next week, there will be a Mafia video on the YouTube channel as well in the evening. At 6 PM every night, there'll be a Mafia video go live as well. So next week, you'll be getting 2 videos a day on the YouTube channel, as well as the live streams and stuff on Twitch throughout the day and in the evenings. Obviously, yesterday, Formula 1 video did get posted yesterday. The British Grand Prix video, that went live. Hope everybody's watched and enjoyed that. Please let me know what you think of the race result, and if you do agree with me that you think Red Bull kind of cheated it a bit, please tell me. I don't think I was wrong to complain about that. I think Red Bull kind of cheated me in that race. Yeah, I'm just going to do a spot of cultivating on this field that Mr. Helgi has stolen all the soybeans off yesterday. And then I'll decide whether I seed it straight away or whether I decide to go off and start doing the canola harvest instead. It might be an idea to save the actual seeding until such a time that me and Mr. Helgi are both on the map, and then we can both have a seeder and we can absolutely smash these fields out together then. Get the seeding done even faster, because that's the great thing. Stevie on this map with the horse, the modified horse pronto that he gives us, and the modified lempkin that he gives us, means we've got a seeder and a planter that can plant everything. So one of us can drive the seeder up and down the field, one of us can drive the planter up and down the field. We can plant the same crops. We're not limited or restricted. Like we have been on other maps where the planters can only plant one crop, can only plant certain crops, the seeders can only plant certain crops. There's no overlap. On this particular map with Stevie's particular seeders, they do everything. So you can use them side by side. The only difference is that obviously the Lempkin's 12 metres, the Pronto is 9 metres, so there's a little bit of a width difference. So you wouldn't be able to seed side by side on a field, but you know, one player could start one edge of the field, the other player could start the other edge and meet somewhere in the middle. But yeah, I was a little bit I must admit, I'm a little bit disappointed with that factories mod, because when you look at it in the mod hub, you think, oh, that's fantastic, that's going to be such a flipping great thing to have on your maps. And then I watched the Mr. CDP video on the mod where he labelled it a game changer, but he was only using it on the La Coronella map, which already supports the factories, because that's where the factories began life. They were part of they are part of the La Coronella map. They've just decided to take them out of the map and make them stand alone. the problem is, looking on the mod hub, the only map that I can see that supports the factories is La Coronella. You only have the one map to play on. And it's like, I don't know how many other map authors are going to make support or include support for the factories. And the reason for that is because of how the factories are programmed and how they are basically set up and how they function. They act like animals. You will notice if you watch the La Coronella streams, factories appeared under the animal menu in the game. They're basically animal husbandries. You're basically feeding them, you know, like the flower factory is not really a factory, it's an animal. It's a flower animal. And you basically feed it wheat and it produces flour. You know, in the same way that you feed sheep grass and they produce wool. Or, you know, you feed, you know, TMR to cows and they produce milk and manure. You know, that's how it kind of works. But because of that, because of how the factories are set up and the way that they've been set up, they don't work with some other mods, and particularly the one that really messes it all up is seasons. If you try to play seasons on La Coronella, it completely breaks the factories. The seasons changes the way the animal system works, which therefore changes the way those factories work. Because seasons doesn't know what a flower animal is, or what a sunflower animal is, or what a cheese animal is. Seasons goes, I don't know what these animals are. We'll delete them. We'll just delete them. We won't support them. And then people wonder why their factories don't work when they're playing the map. So that'll be the problem I foresee. A lot of map makers, map authors, probably won't do support for that mod, because there's a great chance that most people will play seasons and then they'll complain to the map author, oh, I'm playing your map and the factories don't work. And the map author will be like, well, yeah, you can't use seasons. And there's a lot of map authors that just will not, that obviously now, when they're making maps and stuff, won't make maps that don't support seasons. Because there's this kind of stigma or mentality that if you put not compatible with seasons on your map or your mod, people won't download and play it. However, there are a lot of players who don't play seasons and won't play seasons that would. People like me, I would play it because I don't play seasons much anymore. Because I just find it too flipping, I find it too glitchy. I find it has too many bugs. Again, with a lot of the newer mods that I'm running, seasons doesn't support the new mods. What do you want to plant on this field? I haven't thought that far ahead yet, Mr. Helgi. I haven't thought about planting crops yet, because I was going to wait to plant this field until after I'd harvested the canola. I fertilised it. This field is fertilised. I will jump in the Discord because that will make it easier to talk to you. Then you won't have the delay in the stream and you won't have to keep typing your questions to me. Stop rattling, steering wheel, or I will unplug you. There we are, all in the Discord.
And my map is not updated yet, so I didn't see it as fertilized.
I fertilised it first before starting to cultivate. What I was going to do was, after I'd cultivated, I was going to jump over and do the harvesting on field 11, get the canola done, and then I was going to fertilise and cultivate that field, and then I was going to seed these two fields at the same time, sort of thing.
Okay.
Just to keep all.
Well, I can start harvesting.
Keep all the growth.
I harvested this field.
I know you harvested this field. Oh, the soybeans had disappeared when I logged in today. I was like, who's stolen my soybeans?
Yeah. Sold all this straw.
The soybean fairies had turned up in the night and robbed us. Yes, I could see you've harvested a lot and sold a lot based on the fact we have money in the bank account. The farm has money, which means Mr. Helgi's done stuff. Because that's the only time we make any money, folks, is when Mr. Helgi does stuff.
Then how can you spend it now?
Yeah, how can I spend it? That's the thing, see. I'm the one that spends the money. Mr. Helgi's the one that makes it. Like we say, it's a wonderful partnership. It's perfectly balanced. How can we spend that money indeed? I'm not in a rush to spend it, honestly. I think I've done enough in the last couple of days with changing, loading wagons and getting the sprayer and getting the John Deere thing. I think I've done okay at the moment. I would like to let the finances build up a little bit.
I did also a contract on field 12.
Was that the fertilising one?
Yes, I'm not sure it was only fertilizing. I think it was also harvest.
Because when I logged in, there was a fertilising contract which hadn't been collected. It was showing as completed. And
yeah, I did also do a fertilizing one, but
I couldn't see any vehicles anywhere on the map that had been abandoned, so I was like, I guess he's done. So I clicked complete and got the money for it.
it looks like a misty day on the map.
Yeah, a little bit of a foggy start. And it's going to get a bit cloudy and overcast later, looking at the forecast. So did you get a lot of soybeans? Did it yield quite a lot this field?
It was not really much. I think something like 80,000.
But it's a good price. Been about 80,000 bucks from selling it.
I think canola has a higher yield. It will make us a little bit more money.
Yeah, canola definitely will have a higher yield than soybeans, definitely.
I think I should have repaired the header or the harvester, whatever. It's a little bit slow.
What speed are you doing? No reply. Does he hear me? Is my Discord working? Let's find out. Could be. It's flashing green when I'm speaking.
What happened?
I was wondering whether you were not hearing me when I'm talking, because
I do hear you. Yeah.
Okay. It's just that I've asked a couple of questions and you've never answered them.
Really?
Yeah, that's like...
When?
Well, just
Because
now.
just now?
Yeah, you were talking about the harvester being slow.
Yeah.
And I said, how fast are you going? And you never answered.
8.
8. Yeah.
No, I didn't hear that question, sorry.
Right.
No, I'm 8 kilometers per hour.
Yeah,
I'm going to take it to repair.
Yeah, that is slow. It's a little bit slow. That's like 2 kilometers slower than it should be. So yeah, it definitely needs a repair.
Almost felt 20% less.
Yes. You can definitely detect the percentages in this game. You can definitely detect the percentages in this game. And you've been working with percentages a lot just recently in this game. You can detect them. Like when you've done a test.
Test? What?
When I did that yield test thing the other day. Having done that so many times, it's very easy now to spot the percentage differences when you're doing a field. You start harvesting a field and without even looking at the map after you've done a couple of rows, you think to yourself, I wonder if this field needed lime. And then you check the map and you're like, yeah, it does. That's why I'm 15% down on yield.
See, the header is about 10 to 15% down. Needed repair. Yep.
Needed repair. Well, eventually what we'll do is we'll upgrade the header. We will upgrade the header. We'll sell that one and we'll eventually upgrade it. And we'll get one of the Stevie ones, which will allow you to do 14 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
Which is a whole 40% faster than your current one. But again, I'm a bit worried that once you start giving Mr. Helgi speed, he might get nosebleeds.
You're running out of fields.
Yeah. And
I'm so fast.
And of course, the downside as well to increasing the speed is that when Mr. Helgi puts the cruise control on and the GPS and goes off to make himself a coffee, he hasn't got quite as much time. He hasn't got quite as much time as he thinks then to get back before he hits the hedge at the opposite end of the field.
Wow, that's a big negative point then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly, since I have a coffee machine that takes longer to brew the coffee. Oh, that looks nice on field 10. This
the alfalfa?
different crop, yeah.
Yeah.
Violet, very nice. pretty. I'm speeding with 10 kilometers per hour. It pressed me into the seat.
Pressed him into the seat. The G-forces.
When I accelerated. Yeah, since you talked about G-force, I'm so glad I didn't buy the NVIDIA graphics card yet. Yeah, as you say, the Founders Edition doesn't have a problem because they made it proper. They made a proper consistor setup.
Yeah.
Or transistor setup? I don't know.
Proper capacitor. They use proper capacitors. So the NVIDIA's own cards are perfectly fine. They don't have the problem. The problem is if you go with some of the other third-party manufacturers' entry cards. There's some of those manufacturers like MSI, Gigabyte. They've really put corners on the manufacturing and cheaped out on the parts they put in the machine cards. And as a result,
the thing is that these, I think WLCCs are not more expensive. They are just more difficult to install. Right? So they take more time to.
No, they do have a cost increase over the POS caps, which is one of the reasons why a lot of companies use the POS caps because they're so cheap.
Well, the card itself is more expensive with these, yeah, because the time to install them is taking longer. And the thing is, the one guy who tested the Asus Tough card,
yeah,
they have all 6 of them with these special things, capacitors or what they are.
Yeah, Asus didn't skimp out. Asus didn't cut corners. Asus didn't get cheap. So yeah, Asus is definitely one of the companies you would want to buy a card from because they're not using the cheap parts. EVGA were another that use the good capacitors. So again, if you buy an EVGA card, you know you're getting quality. Some of the other companies that definitely cheaped out, they've got problems now because there are consumers who are not going to be very happy that their cards keep crashing. And from the sounds of things, the only fix that the companies are going to offer is a firmware update that downgrades their cards, reduces the
limits them to 2000 megahertz or something.
Yeah, which would be really annoying if you bought one of them cards and then suddenly you're not getting what you paid for.
I mean, you get what you're paid for. You get the 1710. That's what they are guaranteeing. But you don't get the total overclocking range. And that's what probably most people pisses off. You promised me.
That's why people
No, I didn't promise you.
That's why people buy the third-party cards, because they want the overclocking. If they didn't, they would buy a Founders Edition card. They'd buy an NVIDIA card. But yeah, but the good news is, people that are following that story, the companies who then release different models of cards, and again they release cards with higher overclocking and different cooling and stuff like that. They've said that the capacitors on those cards are already going to be the more expensive ones. Like EVGA, they've already said on their 3090s and stuff, there's going to be no issue on those when they release them, because they're already using the good capacitors.
I think they're called MLCCs.
MLCCs, yeah.
Instead of the prospect or something.
POSCAPs.
POSCAPs, yeah. And then I checked also with some other guy, Igor, I think it's called, a German guy.
Yeah.
And he's even mentioned in these tech YouTubers and so on.
Yeah, that was the guy that Jay's 2 cents was referring to. He was referring to Igor.
Yeah. And he said that they have power peaks, these graphics cards.
Yeah.
So they are in a long millisecond range. They have 320 watts, but they have peaks up to 500. So they could actually make your graphics cards, make your power component, the power supply, say, no way, I'm stopping this. And that's what NVIDIA fixed with a patch.
Yeah.
But okay.
And that's why.
But he also said that I'm fine with my 750 watt power supply.
Yeah, which
you
is
have to have a 1,000
which
watt.
Which is why Nvidia did stress that the absolute minimum power supply you should run these cards on is 750 watt. There are people that are trying to run them on lower, but like you say, because of this peak power boost thing that the cards do, you could run into problems on lower power supplies, depending again on how many.
It also depends on if you have a bad ventilated computer.
Yeah.
You probably don't have an issue because it will never overclock that high.
Yeah,
because
if your temperature
is the limitation.
Temperature is one of the limiting factors. Yeah, like the graphics card will only boost if it's got temperature headroom and power headroom. If it detects there is room within the temperature and also the power to go higher and perform faster, it will do that. Like I say, if you're running a very tight PC with bad airflow that causes your graphics card to run hot all the time, it's probably never going to boost. Probably never going to boost. And again, most people probably aren't putting their PC inside a cardboard box connected to an external air conditioner like Jay's 2 cents was doing. So, try and force the system to be cool and stay cool. Yeah, I'm waiting for that 3090 FTW3 hybrid from EGA. That's what I'm waiting for. I've seen pictures of it on their website. It looks very nice.
What are you waiting for?
3090 FTW3 hybrid graphics card from EVGA.
There's a German tech channel. They call it the hell machine they want to build with two 3090 in a Sly configuration.
Yeah, yeah, two 3090s.
Are you crazy? Unbelievable. They want to have an 8K monitor attached to it. which costs something like 30,000 bucks. Ah, absolutely crazy.
I don't know. I've seen some very crazy things just lately from some of these tech guys, from some of these tech people. I watched Linus the other day on his channel where he decided to build a PC into his bath so he could play games.
He
when he's in the bath.
he also mentioned Igor on the graphics cards.
Yeah. It was so funny watching Linus put a PC in his bath, so when he's in the bath he can play games. Yeah.
Underwater. No.
Got the monitor mounted on the wall. And
okay.
he's got the base station up in above the bath in the loft, and then he's got all his wireless peripherals.
How long can you stay in the bathtub? I mean, if it's for me, if it's half an hour, I can't stay anymore. My skin gets shrinking. Shrinking. No, I can't.
That was the thing. Years ago, you was limited to how long you could spend in the bath or how long it took your immersion heater to boil the water in the water tank that fed the bath. But now with the advent of these modern day combi boilers where they heat the water up on the fly, so you've always got hot water, when the bath starts to get cold, you just empty a bit out and fill it up again. So you could effectively just stay in the bath all day.
I mean, my water comes from a central system, which is a big gas-powered boiler with some big isolated tanks.
Yeah, we don't have tanks anymore. The Vale combi boilers that we have. Water literally comes in from a pipe straight outside, from outside straight into the boiler. Yeah, the boiler heats it up instantly and then sends it then off to the taps in there.
I think they have these tanks for buffer, as a buffer system.
The only downside to the combi boiler is if you're using the hot water taps, your central heating system stops. Because it can't heat the radiators at the same time as provide you with water from the taps. So you need so you have to be very careful to make sure you don't go around, you don't leave a tap running anywhere. Otherwise, in the winter you can be sat in the house thinking, bloody hell, it's cold. You put your hand on the radiator. The radiator's freezing cold, and you think, what the hell's going on? Why is the radiator's cold? And you go all around the house and you find out that someone's obviously been upstairs in the bathroom to wash the face or brush the teeth or something, and one of the taps is just dripping slightly. You haven't fully closed it.
Oh my god.
And it's like, god damn it. That's the only downside. If you ever get like leaky or drippy taps, it can bugger up your central heating system. One of the reasons why we're forever changing seals on the taps that we have. We'll always have.
So my question is, when will these 3080 graphics cards be available?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know how long it's going to be taking companies to.
Or maybe now less people want to buy it.
Manufacture.
They wait for AMD.
Everybody, they've sold all their initial. Haven't they, all these companies and Nvidia? Now they've got to be doing their second production runs now. I assume there'll be more graphics cards available then in the future once, because everybody will have bought. After the initial mad rush of everybody snapping up the first batch, there'll be more available second time around. People that have them will already have them.
After all this fuss, I mean, even Gigabyte or whatever companies are set something with a C or a Z front, ZTAC, they will probably make them properly. Huh? Don't save so much money.
Well, the other cards that they do, the next, like you say, these cards with the cheap capacitors are what these companies call their entry-level cards. These companies will be releasing other cards with higher specs. Anyway, they always do. And I imagine those higher spec cards will have the more expensive components in them. But the entry-level cards, they probably won't do anything about. They'll probably leave those.
But then they will also be more expensive.
Yeah, the higher level cards always are. That's why it's such a minefield when you go to buy a graphics card. Because like you look at a company like Asus, they all have 6 models of 3080 graphics cards. And you'll be like, well, what's the difference? You've then got to then read the small print and look at the specs to see what the difference is. There'll be different cooling. And there'll be different base clock, different boost clock, different memory speeds. And they'll all be at different price
I'm not
points.
sure if overclocking is such a big thing for me. I mean, I would be probably well off with the Founders Edition.
Yeah, most people probably would be. I would be. If I got an NVIDIA 3090, I would be happy with that. You know, that would definitely be good enough for me. The thing I don't like about the Founders Edition cards is I don't like the fact they require a special power connector, a special 12-pin connector, which then makes connecting it into your case a lot more flipping difficult, because you've got to then use an adapter to convert your existing 8 pins into this 12-pin thing. Whereas one of the graphics cards...
You need a cable for that, yeah? In principle, 2 cables.
Yeah, you need a Y cable that takes your 2 8-pins and converts it to the one 12-pin. But one of the graphics cards that Jay's 2 cent guy took to bits, one of the graphics cards there actually had that built into it. And he says, why didn't NVIDIA do that? He says, why didn't NVIDIA? He says, this company's using NVIDIA's own reference PCB, but then they put extendos on it, he says. It's fantastic. But all the third-party companies, they're just using traditional 8-pins. They haven't bothered using that 12-pin connector style, which is one of the reasons why I'm going to go with a third-party graphics card, because I've already got cables for that in my system.
I mean, is NVIDIA, when they sell the Founders Edition, not supplying you a cable?
Yes, they supply a cable with their graphics card, but what most people are saying is it looks ugly because you've got this cable. You've got this cable coming out of the graphics card that then you have to plug 2 other cables into, and because of the way that how short the cable is and that, there's no way to really hide it in view. If you're a PC builder that likes nice clean looking PCs, you've got this horrible ugly cable with these connectors on right there in your face. Not in your face,
I don't care about that.
but in your face.
Nobody crawls under my desk and looks into the computer.
You can't help it on mine because my case has got a complete see-through glass panel on the side, so you can see straight into my case the whole time. And it's all nicely little. It's all nicely little.
When I look at it down at the Gigabyte, which is the graphics card I'm using from Gigabyte.
Yeah, I was kind of looking. I was like, I might have a look at the Asus cards, and they're a bit more freely available, and websites have a bit more information on them, especially the tough card, because like you say, they are definitely using 6 of the good capacitors in their tough cards. And seeing as most of my stuff is in my PC is Asus anyway, it would make sense for me maybe to have an Asus card, but I've always used EVGA. What are you picking up?
Did Squirrel make a mistake in building a computer 2 months ago?
With 2 2080 Ti's? He would have done if he had paid for them. I've got a feeling he didn't pay for those graphics cards, so he's not bothered.
Okay.
I imagine he was given those by Asus, so he can afford to put 2 2080 graphics cards in his machine and SLI them when he's not paying for them. What are you picking up? We are picking up canola straw, or I am picking up canola straw. Mr. Helgi's doing the canola harvest at the minute. And then, no doubt, once he gets a little bit bored of doing the harvest, he'll give me a shout and we'll swap seats. And I'll do some harvesting and he'll do some straw collecting.
Oh, you could do that, whatever. Yeah, the thing is, that's a mod, huh?
Yes.
You need to build.
Yes, it's the, I think the mod is called Straw Me. I think it's Straw Me. It's on the mod hub, and basically it allows you to make straw from soybeans, corn and canola. So it gives you that extra little bit of stuff that you can pick up and sell, which makes harvesting a lot more profitable. And again, because we run the mod that allows you to collect straw when you're doing contracts, and that makes it even more profitable, because now you can get straw off your soybean contracts and corn contracts and canola contracts, which is very, very good. And oftentimes, when you're doing straw collection from contracts, the straw will actually pay you far more than the contract does. Or if you get if the contract's offering you 20 grand to harvest the field, I guarantee you'll make probably 4 times that much from collecting and selling the straw. Or if you want to use the straw in your animal husbandry, you know, give it to your cows and your sheep and your pigs and your horses and stuff, you can do. It's Mr. Hogan stood in the field.
You can harvest and I always wanted to drive a Case Magnum tractor.
Case AFS. Quite surprising, because I hadn't really used any of the case equipment before I did Lakeland Vale, the first map with Dolores, and then on that map I just used nothing but case. I kind of like a lot of the case equipment now. I know you're not supposed to say that if you're a Millennial Farmer fan, but yeah, some of the case equipment I don't actually dislike anymore. I find it okay. The tractors, like that one, very nice. And then the Puma, the Puma is also a good medium-sized tractor that is very useful for doing lots of things in that middle area, because it's got good power. I'm trying to think of all the different things I used. Obviously I used Fent a lot when I did Snetterton Forest. I think when I did...
We had here one time.
I think when I did Mercury Farms I did New Holland stuff, or was it Valtra? Might have been Valtra and New Holland I think I used on that map. But yeah, Case was really one of the we've done obviously Class. We did Class when Class came out, so we used all Class on one map.
I think we also did some John Deere stuff.
Yeah, we've had John Deere stuff mixed in on some of the maps that we've done on the server. I think on some of the maps we've had a bit of a mishmash, like Don Diego, that was like a mishmash of stuff. La Coronella was a mishmash of stuff. Didn't particularly have all one brand of anything.
We definitely had some Tri-6.
Yeah, we had Tri-6. Can't remember what happened to that mod. I'm sure the guy said he was definitely working on an update for it to fix some of the issues with it.
The oval steering wheel.
Maybe. I think some of the colours of it were a bit funny as well. Sometimes the chrome on it, when you had the chrome, and you zoomed in or zoomed out on the tractor, it seemed to go a bit multicolour, technicolor, bit rainbow coloured. Some of the metal parts of it, and I think he was trying to fix that. That seemed a long time ago now. I've not seen him on his page post an update for that. I wonder if he's not bothered to update it. He's kind of just left it as it is. It's a shame, because it's a good tractor. It's probably the best modded tractor you can get, because it's an absolute beast.
Definitely powerful.
It's definitely the most powerful tractor you'll ever get in the game at the minute, unless you go and edit one and make it super unrealistic. The Tri-6 was definitely top of the pile, power. And then below that you had the big buds, obviously. And it's empty. Big buds. And then you've got things obviously like your Challengers, your quad tracks and things like that, which were all in about the 692 area for horsepower. And then after that you got things like your Fent 1050 coming in at just over 500. A couple of others, but yeah, if you wanted, 1,000 horsepower plus tractors, you were very limited. You either had the Big Bud 747 or you had the Tri-6, and I think the Tri-6 was like 500 horsepower more than the Big Bud. And I like the Tri-6 more than the Big Buds because the Tri-6 wasn't articulated, and the Tri-6 also had a 3-point link on the front and rear, so you could use it with everything.
I wonder whether when you use some Tri-6 which are very power hungry, whether you need a larger power supply for your PC.
Possibly. Possibly. I just remember as well one day, sometime soon, very soon, I need to open up my Corsair application on my PC. Find out what model.
Since I waited for this graphics card and I didn't buy the flight simulator, I don't know. I'm not so keen anymore on the flight simulator. You don't hear much about it anymore. The hype is gone.
Hype's gone. Yeah. Hype is gone. It's alright.
Now you have to buy all these third-party products.
It's alright. You still need a new graphics card though when you come to play Cyberpunk.
What?
You come to play Cyberpunk, you'll need a new graphics card for that as well. And you'll get
Cyberpunk, okay.
Yeah, the CD Projekt game.
You think that's a good game?
I'm hoping it's a good game. It should be. CD Projekt Red, they ain't made no bad yet, have they? Although I did hear a funny thing the other night. I was watching two of my friends streaming the other night. I was kind of just lurking in their stream, watching them, what they're up to. So I haven't seen or spoken to them for ages in real life, but they were streaming the other night and they were talking about it, and one of them says, "It seems really silly, that game, to me. They put so much time and effort into the character creation. You can make this really, really detailed character and everything. Then the whole game's played in first person, so you never see them."
Yeah, that would be stupid. It's a big field.
Yeah, field 11 is a big field. It's our biggest field. Money maker, this one. This is the money maker. Lots of good crops planted on this field that are going to make you lots of money. Because you get lots of yield. It might be an idea to put soybeans on this field next.
Yeah.
Maybe put corn on field 4, maybe? I don't know. Because on field 4 we've done sunflowers and soybeans now. Those were the first 2 crops we did on that field. Maybe corn. And then after that it probably will want ploughing after that, because that will be our 3rd harvest. So something keeps doing that horrible phantom signal thing again. Don't know what it is.
Want to get going? No.
It is. I keep trying to stop and then the vehicle keeps driving itself.
Sometimes the input is a little bit off, I think, from the controller in this game.
It's like for some weird reason something in my PC keeps sending like an accelerator or brake signal. I thought it was my steering wheel and pedals. I thought they were maybe messing me about. Because when I played Mafia yesterday, first mission I come to play after loading the game up, as soon as I exited the car, the guy just pulled his gun out and started firing at stuff all by himself, and I was like, what's going on? What's happening? And then I had to unplug the cable from my steering wheel that connects to the pedals, and he stopped, and I thought, it's the steering wheel that's doing it. But my steering wheel's not plugged in today, and yeah, the harvester keeps like accelerating and slowing down on its own. I can't use the cruise control because it keeps turning the cruise control off, so something else is sending those signals. It's not my controller, because I'm using the controller. Do you guys do animals or just sell your crops for money? Oh, we do animals. We definitely do animals.
Not yet.
We just haven't done yet because we've literally only started on this map last week. So we although we have the animal pens at the farm, we have nothing in them because at this moment in time we don't have any crops in our site. We haven't built up a supply of crops which we can use as food. Also, because when we started on this map, we have a $3 million loan that we have to pay back. So we need to repay the loan first, get out of debt, and then we can start looking to do the animals and all that kind of stuff. And there will be other things we want to do as well. There's some other machinery and equipment we want to buy and add to the farm a little bit further on. For example, I really want... let me find it. I really want
Is it only 3 million? I thought it's a 10 million.
I really want the the loan glitched out. The loan glitched out the other day.
Okay.
You know when I went to make the first repayment, I did, and it's on the stream.
It didn't work.
It didn't work. I hit the repay loan button, and our bank balance went to -6 million. I was like, what the hell's happened there? And I think it's because, based on the how many fields we currently own and their value, and how many vehicles we currently own and their value, we don't actually have 10 million's worth of stuff. So the game wouldn't let us have a loan of 10 million. So effectively, as soon as I tried to repay the loan, it's adjusted the loan to what we could actually afford. So instead of it being 10 million, I think it was like 3 million and some odd, because I have repaid stuff off the loan. I have repaid a bit of the loan. I have put, you know, money into it, and it's now at 2.8 million, so just under 3 million. That straw harvesting only on PC. The straw me mod. Let me have a look. It will tell me on the in-game mod hub. Not on the mod hub. Placeable factories. Yeah, I'm so disappointed in that mod. That could have been so much better.
Yeah, the thing is that in the beginning we had a total of -7 million. Yeah, that was for when you paid it. Yeah. And we had an interest of -280,000.
Yeah,
and
that
we
was
get something like 80,000.
Yeah, that was because that 280,000 was when I had edited the save to give us to. I changed the loan in the save to 10 million because it wouldn't let me borrow 10 million. I couldn't actually physically take that much money. I couldn't loan that much money from the bank. The bank stopped me at a certain point, which is why I'm thinking the loan amount, the maximum loan you can have, is based on the combined value of everything you own. And at the start of the map, we don't own a lot. Trying to find this bloody mod now. I thought it released fairly recently. Better lights. I missed it. Have I scrolled past it? Draw me. There it is. PC and Mac only, yeah. I'm guessing because it uses a script to add the functionality into every map. So you don't need to mess around editing maps to add support for the mod. Which is kind of what I wish the Factories mod did, because that's how the Factories mod should have been done. And then you could use the Factories mod on every map in every game. The way the Factories mod does it, you're going to have to edit the maps yourselves before you start playing. You're going to have to get Giant's Editor and learn how to make maps. And I just don't see that mod working for 99% of people. Because most people are not going to have the knowledge and know-how on how to do that. Especially as the mod itself doesn't come with any instructions. I've downloaded the mod, opened the mod up and had a look at the files inside, and there's absolutely no instructions contained within it. No text files or anything, no PDFs that tell you how you're supposed to actually edit it and put it into an existing map. So the guy who's released that mod really probably just needs to go back and provide a bit more info on it, really. Yes, lovely, lovely canola straw. Again in a second. great thing
just remember a joke about mathematics, where the teacher hands out a test to his students and says, I know that 90% of you will not pass the test. And then there is a guy says, one student says, but we are not that many. Teacher was right.
The lovely, wonderful thing about this straw mod, though, is I like the fact it adds its own separate entries. So your corn straw, your canola straw, your soybean straw, they're all separate and they all have their own prices. It's not just lumped in with the default vanilla.
But they're only black and white.
Yeah, it needs somebody to make some nice colourful icons that work with the Global Company add-on mod thing. Or somebody will do that at some point. Although, to be fair, there has been an update for that Global Company add-on mod thing in the last week or so, but I've not updated because I don't know if it messes with the icons Stevie uses. Because normally I use the add-on, the Global Company add-on pack that Stevie provides, where he's put his icons into that pack when you're playing on his maps. Like his compost and all, and his potatoes and his washed potatoes and his steamed potatoes and his homogenised milk he has on his maps, and his alfalfa. I can't remember where I got the icons from for the straw harvest add-on. For the like the hay pellets and straw pellets and stuff, because they weren't provided by.
You are followed by Tapir.
I've been followed by Tapir. Yeah, thank you for the follow, Tapir. I didn't hear the notification because, again, I've got no. I've just realised I've not got no computer sounds in my headphones. I've only got Discord sounds in my headphones. I hear no gaming sounds. I'm assuming my PC is not outputting to my headphones anything but Discord. Have to keep that in mind. I ought to probably switch that on actually, just in case anybody decides to do any subbing or donating or anything like that. Let's put that on. There we go. I can now hear Harvester in my ears.
Driving in cab feels much faster.
Those with these case tractors and stuff, because they're quite quick. Yeah, that's another reason I like the AFS. It tends to be pretty speedy. Like the Fendt. The Fendt is also pretty quick for a tractor. Again, a lot of the tractors seem to be stuck at like 50 kilometres an hour top speed. Whereas there are a couple that just seem to go a bit higher than that, which is nice. Especially when you're trying to cover some distance to like sell points and stuff, when you're just driving trailers. Obviously nothing will be as quick as the truck, but But I do notice coming up the hill towards the farm, everything slows down. On that path from the main road up to the farm, you drop to about 30 kilometres an hour. Which I find quite funny.
Yeah, they go 53. That's okay.
And then once you turn right to drive a lot around the top of field 4, you speed up again.
It's also nice, the movement inside the cab, yeah, where you bounce around. And
oh yeah, the animated suspension.
like...
Again, it'd be so much cool if they ever made this game compatible with 3D goggles, wouldn't it? If in the next farm sim they offered...
If you want some immersion, you have the track IR now.
Yeah, but it's not quite the same as goggles.
But I don't remember that track IR gives you the same movement like I do now without track IR. I'm not sure. But I also need to properly sit in front of my computer with track IR now. I can put up my feet.
That's kind of the thing that's actually at this moment in time stopping me from using track IR, because I don't sit directly in front of my PC, close to my PC. Like you, when I'm playing this game, I tend to sit to the side, I tend to lounge back in my chair, I tend to be, you know, comfortable and relaxed.
Yeah.
And you can't do that with track IR. It doesn't work. Whereas with 3D goggles, you would still have that. Wherever you choose to sit and lounge, the goggles move with you.
But like if I play truck sim, then I need to put up my steering wheel and my pedals, and then I have to sit there.
Yeah,
properly.
that does make you a bit more disciplined. But then again, I noticed when I tried track IR with Formula 1, even though I'm sat at the steering wheel, I'm still moving about in my seat, and it just completely causes track IR to have a fit. And then the screen's moving around really crazy, and then I start moving around to try and counteract what's going on the screen, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. Snowballs then. It's like, oh no, I've lost control of the screen. Quick, hit the track IR reset button. Yeah, Truck Sim is probably the one thing I probably ought to maybe have a play with it in next week. Sometime next week I ought to maybe do a day where I play a bit of ATS again. Have a look at what this new truck is all about that they added. See if it's worth buying a few and sticking in a garage somewhere for some of the AI drivers to use to make me money.
I'm still using my Mac.
Yeah, the Mac's a good truck. I quite like the Mac. It used to be all about the which one is it? Kenworths, that was it. It used to be all about the Kenworths, because that's obviously what most of the all the YouTube farmers and that use.
Oh, it's the classic American truck. It's nice.
And I like the Kenworths because I was able to put me Los Polos Amana skin on all of them all. So I looked like I had a whole load of Gus Friggs and chicken trucks. Breaking Bad. Selling all of Heisenberg's meth. I'm slightly thinking is that we're probably going to need another cultivator, aren't we? we've only got one cultivator and this field's massive and it's going to take ages for one person to cultivate this field. Where it's been fertilised.
Leave it uncultivated.
The only problem with that is then we wouldn't get the fertiliser from the seeder, would we?
No.
We would have to fertilise in the first growth stage. After seeding. We could do that, I suppose. The two of us could grab seeders, we could seed this field, and then it's just a case then of once the crop has started to grow, one of us would have to come back and do the fertiliser spraying. Oh, crap.
It's definitely quicker than cultivating.
Someone's got the truck. Because I can't tab into it. I think that's the first time.
The nice thing is the truck is right next to the harvester.
Did I do?
For tapping.
Oh, I did crop destruction then. I don't think I did.
No, I think you have crop destruction off.
Have I?
Because I should have done twice crop destruction, but it didn't.
I'm going to check that. Crop destruction is supposedly on. I've just turned it off and I'll turn it back on again. Because I got a feeling there, I drove into the crop and...
Me too. And it didn't do any crop destruction, right? But you did already, you did crop destruction the other day with the sunflowers? One little edge?
Yeah, one edge I thought I did, yes.
Yeah.
When I was turning around with one of the machines, I just kind of just caught the edge of the field and did some crop destruction.
I mean, I thought I caught it on time with the harvester to do not crop destruction. So maybe I did stop in time, maybe.
I just heard somebody shouting outside. Just go and investigate what's going on. I'll be back in a second. I can't believe it's dinner time. It seems too early for dinner. I'll go and check. Yeah, false alarm. False alarm. They're not shouting at me. They're shouting at the dog. One of the dogs is trying to steal the other dog's dinners.
Shall I? Oh, I can't do. Well, could I do crop destruction with this loading wagon? Probably not with the tractor. Right?
The tractor shouldn't do crop destruction because it's got crop-friendly tyres. The tractor's tyres are crop-friendly, but the loading wagon should do crop destruction, yes.
It works, yeah, can do crop destruction.
I might have done a little bit. There's a little bit of a blue spot on the map, so yeah. I probably just caught it, I think I just got full with the harvester and just caught it before I actually did too much.
Yeah, with my experience, it was similar to me, but normally that would be already crop destruction. Maybe they changed something.
Must have
Made it a little bit
literally
more generous.
just brushed up against the crop with the tracks, and then I only did that first little.
But maybe the tracks are not in a collision phase, but the center of the tracks, like a wheel, could be the collision point.
Well, I imagine if I'd have driven like 50 yards through the crop, it would have been a lot more noticeable.
Yeah.
It would have definitely been more noticeable, but I think I literally was just stopping as I got full. So I was already like, oh, need to empty, and then I was like,
so
crop destruction.
You can only do crop destruction on your own fields, right?
Yeah.
It's unrealistic.
Well, it's to stop
It's
abuse.
probably to prevent.
It's to stop abuse in multiplayer from people driving. Yeah, people idiots in multiplayer driving all over other people's farms and ruining their stuff.
That's what they want.
That's exactly what it's to prevent. Because you know you're going to get some people that would just log on to a server to be trolls. You know, you get trolls in every multiplayer game that just want to spoil for people. There is this element of people that just want to ruin things for everybody. You know, a bit like Michael Caine said in the Dark Knight movie. There are some people that just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
Missing the football.
These are the spectators on the Autobahn that cause a traffic jam on the other side of the traffic. Uh-oh. Hello.
Okay, yeah, crop destruction's definitely on.
Okay, it works.
Definitely on now.
That was the proof.
That was the proof. That was the test to see. You know, this thing fills up really fast though. This thing gets to 100% very quickly on its yield. Because I literally felt like I only just emptied that 2 minutes ago. Where's the truck? Probably going to have to go and sell the truck in a minute because we're at 85%, 86%.
I could try unloading you, yeah. It's not working. It's a US mill.
US mill best price for canola?
The farm buns is still the highest price for the straw. Is the truck full?
Truck is full. Well, very close too. Someone's following me very closely. I'm pressing right Control and S and the follow me guy's not getting further away. He's not increasing his distance. Fucking knocking stuff off my desk. I'm still going to turn that round the other way and use the stand because he doesn't want to stand up. Bought fuel. Someone's had to fill their tractor. One's repairing everything.
Yeah, if you have an accident with a half-damaged tractor, the insurance doesn't pay.
You have an accident with a tractor that's not roadworthy, yeah, the insurance will not pay. You're quite correct. I'm sure you got your MOT certificate. I switched the harvester off. It won't drive anywhere when I'm going to fetch the rock. Go and have a look then. Canola wants to go to the US mill, which I believe down into the town centre. Down to the US mill we go to sell our canola. Bit of a drive. It's a bit of a trek. Yeah. Overtaken by a cement mixer.
The harvester is full, by the way.
I know. It's full. That's why.
No, it was only 60% full. Now it's full.
I emptied a bit out of it. And the trailer was full, so I had to go and sell the trailer.
Comes the mad driver. It's a race.
It's a wave. It's a wave. I'm winning. Seen that for a while, but I've still got it. Yeah, it's that.
It's a race! It's a race! I'm winning! I'm winning!
But I think there is some essential equipment still missing on this farm.
Essential equipment? You mean,
Thunder.
Exactly.
The reason that is missing at the minute from the farm is because somebody's actually done a mod of his new one. One that's actually all personalised for him and actually has his logo on and has Thunder with about 20 R's at the end written on it. Someone's actually done that mod, however, it doesn't have the option to repair vehicles, and that's why I'm a little bit reluctant to use it, because I prefer the other trailer that has the repair function in it, as well as the refueling function. I don't know if the guy has any plans to add the service function to that his mod. It would be great if he did, and then it would be perfect to use. For repairing vehicles in the field as well as refueling them. But it kind of seems like he's basically just done a reskin of the vehicle that's already in the game, so perhaps he doesn't quite have the modding know-how on how to add the service functionality, and having like the diesel pump, having to turn the pump on before he can refuel the vehicles and stuff like the other mod does.
Yeah, but can't you use this?
Of course I could use that mod. I could use the mod we've always used. Definitely.
Yeah.
It's installed. It's in the shop. You could buy it. It's right there next to the pressure washer that I bought. But when I saw somebody had made the actual real new Millennial Farmer Thunder, I was like, yeah, I would like that one. But then I downloaded it and was like, oh, can't repair vehicles with it. That sucks.
Is it under placeables? Oh.
No, it's in equipment. It's under the miscellaneous section of attachments.
Oh yeah. That's the standard one. And then there is, what's it called? FST 99S. 21,000.
Yeah, FST 99S, that's the one. Yeah, 21,000 bucks. It's not cheap. It's not a cheap bit of kit, but it's very useful. Carrying fuel into the field and a repair box, toolbox.
Repair is definitely handy.
Yeah, especially when you're harvesting, being able to get your header fixed. Especially when you're doing a big field. Oh, it's 4-1 now. 4-1. We're getting pasted. Oh, good result, Ollie.
No straw.
I'm going to drop straw on that a little bit.
I transfer straw to gold. Is this a fairy tale known in the UK?
What, Rumpelstiltskin?
Hm?
Did Rumpelstiltskin turn straw to gold?
Ja. Rumpelstilzchen, ja. What you call it?
Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstilzchen?
Yeah, Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstilzchen?
Didn't he spin straw into gold? Sure he did.
Yeah. Rumpelstilzchen, we call it in German. It's one of many cruel fairy tales. Teaches children a lesson. The world is cruel. The world is not a kindergarten.
World is not sugar coated and rainbows.
Yeah.
It's dark, the world beneath the darkest. The real world.
Try to explain a 5-year-old. The world is not a matrix.
Right. Going fantastic.
Oh, what?
Oh man, and 10 men.
I'm full. I'm full of straw, not full of shit.
He's full of straw. He's full of straw.
I also like they have different textures for the straw.
Yeah. All 3 straws have different textures, which again differentiates them from the generic straw that you get from the default crops, which is nice. I haven't done bales yet. You're supposed to be able to do bales as well with this straw, so you can bale it, and I wonder if the bales have different textures.
So let's see about the prices. Canola. No, it's just $4 difference. I don't give a I don't care.
No, it's not worth driving all the way to the animal place for $4. Costs you more in fuel. We're all about being a fish in the sea here on this map. We're all about the fish in the sea.
What do they mean with the fish in sea? I don't even remember what it was about. Was it some electricity company or was it ESO? I don't know.
I don't know. I just know the fish in the sea is what you were saying when we first started playing.
It was a commercial in the UK that I saw. But this
Oh, it's a
little boy
little
was
kid.
sitting
There's
in
a
front of the aquarium asking this question. What do they mean? It's the fish in sea.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know whether it was ESO or some electricity company in the UK. I don't know. I mean, some commercials you definitely know which company they are, like Nothing Impossible, Toyota. You remember that for the rest of your life. They had this commercial in German where they say, Ist es unmöglich, Toyota? Even the song, you know, remember. Nothing impossible, Toyota. Not sure if you got it in the UK as well, I don't know.
Probably not. I don't know. I don't really remember too many adverts. I don't watch a lot of TV these days, so I don't see many adverts. And most of the adverts I remember are the
40 years ago, I think.
the adverts that I tend to remember are the ones that I saw as a kid.
Yeah, the same as me. So the advert is quite old. This was when Toyota was fighting against the German car manufacturers, of course.
I can remember the
BMW, Mercedes, Audi, VW.
I used to remember all the adverts for Scotch tapes. When you used to have video cassettes, and obviously Scotch used to make all the blank video cassettes that people used to always buy. And they used to do adverts, and it was always re-record, not fade away. Re-record, not fade away. Re-record, not fade away. There's this whole little jingle jangle song and stuff. And then there was another advert I always remember with the guy sneaking downstairs in the middle of the night to get a drink from the fridge. And he's like, "Oh, white's lemonade. I'm a secret."
You tell all the kids what a tape recorder was.
Stuff like that.
Or little cassette players. What was that? I stored computer programs on a cassette player.
I used to always remember the Hamlet cigar adverts as well.
Transferred it to the Hamlet, yeah.
They were always funny to watch. Because there'll be somebody having an absolute nightmare, and then there'll just be
I
someone
like the soap commercial of FA, F-A. You had that?
No.
Commercial about soap? Because they had a naked woman in this commercial. She was diving into a pool naked. Yeah. It was about some soap or something called FA, Germany, FA. Maybe just Germany. Unbelievable, and that was in the 70s, where the naked woman, oh my god. But I think today you see less naked women in television than in those times. Sniffing the white powder directly from the house. Almost full, 99%? Oh, 99? 100.
I'm 77%. I might as well empty whilst I'm
We have
here.
500,000. Can you believe it?
Yeah, we've got half a
How
million.
much did you get for the canola?
105,000 for the first trailer.
Wow. Good.
And we must have got 200,000 for the straw so far.
Yeah, I think so.
The straws made 200,000. The canola's made 100,000. Therefore, we're 300,000
Sure that
profit
we had
for
at
today.
least 10 trips. Well, maybe I had 8, 7 trips, and you had another 5, 6.
That's what I'm saying, folks.
Each time about 15,000.
This
So 10 trips, it's 150,000.
this straw me mod makes harvesting very profitable. Not necessarily for the crop you're harvesting, but for the straw. Getting as much straw as you can. Throw the crop away. You don't need the crop.
Just a waste of time.
Waste of time. Throw the crop away.
Let's try to do some scientific research. Which crop does give you the most straw? Which crop has the best straw yield?
Straw yield. That's going to take some time because that means you're going to have to plant the same crop on. You're going to have to plant all the different crops on one field. You're going to have to go through and make a note. What does field 2 give you for wheat? What does field 2 give you for barley? What does field 2 give you for oat? What does field 2 give you for soybeans? What does field 2 give you for canola? What does field 2 give you for corn?
Yeah, you just create a map with 10 field 2s.
See which of the crops gives you the most yield.
Fields. 10 times the identical field. Should be easy to do. Or choose a map that has identical fields, or let's say at least some of the fields are identical.
I would still reckon that the wheat, barley and oats would produce the most straw.
Yeah, me too.
Only because I know what those what they yield based on looking at map files and looking at the maps. I haven't actually looked at this mods files to see what this mod yields for soybean straw, canola straw and corn straw. But I know on the default maps, on most maps, the normal straw gives you something like 6.36 straw yield from wheat, barley and oat. I think grass is about 4.5 or 4.65 yield. Grass windrow and grass straw. Grass and hay, should I say.
Yeah, but look at the files is cheating. You have to do the testing. Make a video and get all the viewers who don't even know about this straw mod. When you make the straw mod popular.
The thing I wonder is if the crop yield influences the straw yield. In the sense that if say wheat yields at 1.5 and barley yields at 1.0, does wheat give you more straw than barley? Or is the straw defined purely by the straw yield further down, where it doesn't matter whether you harvest wheat or barley, it still produces 6.35 per square metre?
I think it is treated like another crop. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it depends on the harvester. Oh, you're talking.
Now you're suggesting I make a video where I test all these different things.
With different harvesters.
I have to spend a whole week playing the game, find out the results, which means I don't get to play anything else. I don't get to play on the server. I end up with a video that probably only you watches. And then I find out, yeah, I didn't even watch it to the end. Like the last video.
I only watched the first 5 minutes.
I only watched the first 5 minutes. All that work for nothing.
Yeah. You make a straw mountain.
Yeah, why is straw still piling out the back of my machine? I'm not harvesting. It's weird. It's like it just didn't stop. Unlimited straw. Bit like the trailer that was doubling crops.
Yeah. More straw.
Did see a weird thing the other earlier as well. There's a
Thank you.
make a wibbly wobbly line that he can't pick up. Make it harder for him to pick up the straw by wibbly wobbling.
Challenge.
Someone's made a mod where they've got static balers now.
What balers?
Static balers. As in, you buy them, you park them somewhere on your map, and then you have to take the straw or grass to them and load them up, and then they make bales. You don't drive them on the field. I mean, I'm sure that has a use for some people, and I'm sure some people use it. I just think that's going to take way more time to faff about with. Having to try and load a baler.
Well, if you want to play some historic map or something like 50 years ago.
Loading a baler with a bucket,
longer.
a shovel is going to take ages.
Where the people run around on the field with a chisel.
Right, harvest complete. So, seeding next then. Did we say? Don't think we need lime or no, don't need lime. We don't need to plough.
We need to fertilize, so.
Yeah, but we'll do that first growth stage then.
So we can just seed, no?
Yeah, we can seed straight away.
And fertilize at the same time?
Seed and fertilise at the same time, yes. Because both our machines are direct drill. Both our seeder and planters are direct drill. And then once the crop appears, then we can just come down with the sprayer and give it the second fertiliser. Otherwise, if we do fertilising first, we have to cultivate, and we've only got one cultivator, which is going to take one of us hours. Unless we bought a second cultivator. So at least by doing it the other way, on field 4, when we seed field 4, we will be at full fertiliser. Because I did cultivate field 4.
I think the rest of the canola you can put in the silo. Right?
Yeah, I can hang on to that for a little bit. Bit of a rainy day fund. We'll get some fuel for the harvester though, quickly. And make sure it's all tip-top and repaired.
Need a bio break.
$66,947 litres of canola going into the silo. Not bad. Not bad. We'll hang on to that then. yes, we've got all the... I mean, the farm comes with all the animal pens, so it's just a case of when we decide to buy the animals and start putting them in. But like I say, I would like to get a bit more of the loan paid off first and make sure we've actually then got some crops going into our silo, so we've got plenty of food on hand, because they are quite demanding. Obviously, it'd be nice to, as per usual, what we normally do. We normally start with the chickens first, because chickens, you know, make eggs which you can make good money from. Plus, we like to say in your face chickens all the time when their eggs sell, or when we sell something that is more profitable than the eggs. Because on La Coronella, when we played that map, the chickens sold their eggs every hour automatically for us. We didn't have to sell any eggs ourselves, touch them, handle them or anything. So every hour the eggs got sold, and every hour the message would pop up on screen. And it just felt like the chickens were bragging about how productive they were and how much money they made. Right then. Cedars. So, which machine is Mr. Helgi grabbing? I'm going to grab my case. Right, I'm going to need some seed and some fertilizer. And also to change the crop. Splash. Is our wheat growing nicely? There we go. Now we start putting down the soybeans. Got my hazard lights on for some reason. I must have pressed the wrong button at some point in time. Yeah, it's alright, seeding properly.
Soybeans
Soybeans!
on the big field. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, we'll get this field done and then we'll go and do field 4 after.
What? The tractor is so loud, I don't understand.
Oh, bloody hell, it's 5-1 now. Bloody hell. This game of football is not going to do anything to improve my mood today. Yeah, it's probably a good thing that the fans aren't allowed in the stadium because they would not be very happy.
I don't know, I thought they have now about 11,000 viewers per game or something. Per football match.
No, they don't let anybody in the UK still. Not to the proper football matches. Some non-league clubs and that are having fans in the lower leagues, but certainly at like Premier League level and that, all games are still behind closed doors, no fans allowed. Good job, because if you'd have paid for a ticket to watch this match, you'd be very, very fucking unhappy. This is embarrassing. This is fucking losing 5-1 we are. At Old Trafford, at our home ground, we're losing 5-1. Tell you what, I'm going to have to get the checkbook out tomorrow and make some signings. Transfer deadline day, we're going to have to sign some players because these lot ain't got a clue. This team ain't good enough.
And Germany, they always throw out the trainer, the coach.
And I tell you what, as well, this result today, that's not going to help transfer prices because all the clubs will know that we are desperate, so they'll be putting their prices up.
Yeah.
If we wanted to buy a player last week, it'd have cost us 30 million. If we want to buy a player tomorrow, it's going to cost us 60. Because the club's going to know we're desperate now. Woodward's got to go. We've got to get rid of Woodward. He's the worst fucking chairman we've ever had. I don't think he understands football. He might be good in a business world, but he's not good in a football world.
I wonder why are you so much quicker with your part of the field than me?
Because my seeder's wider, for a start.
What?
My planter is 12 metres wide, your seeder's only 9. And your part of the field's longer than mine, don't forget.
Ah, okay, that's the reason.
Your field's much long. Your part of the field's much longer than mine. I've got the short rows.
And that's why.
I kind of figured you'd like to use the GPS more, and then it gives you that little bit more time to go and make your coffees and stuff if you're on the long rows. Which reminds me, I did bring a bottle of Coke up with me today before I started streaming, and I've not opened it yet, and I've not had any. So, you know what? I'm going to have my first swig of drink for the day at 5:45 in the evening.
That's not good. You should drink more.
Yeah, got to stay hydrated. Got to stay hydrated. Well, it's now you've opened the floodgates, because now I've had that drink, I'm going to want to drink the whole bottle.
My cup of tea is a coffee.
That's a good cup of tea. People get so confused when I say that. When I use that expression, people get so confused. People are like, but you're not drinking a cup of tea. Yeah, I know I'm not drinking a cup of tea. But the thing is, I'm one of these weird English people that has never drunk tea or coffee. I've never drunk a hot drink in my whole life. Never wanted to, never been interested in doing so. I've only ever drunk soft drinks.
So not even when you were a child, you didn't have any tea?
No. No. Always have drank either fruit juices, fruit squashes, or fizzy drinks. That's all I've ever drunk my whole life. But I can't ignore the fact that I am English, so I feel like when I do have a drink, I have to do the English thing and go, that's a good cup of tea. You know, like me father does when he makes his cup of tea, and he wanders through into the room, he sits down in his chair, he takes a swig and he goes, that's a good cup of tea. So I've always done it, even though I don't actually drink tea. Whatever I'm drinking, whether it be a can of Coke or a can of Dr. Pepper or whatever, I drink it and that's a good cup of tea.
My father used to drink beer, and he says, the first sip is always the best. So with the first sip, you try to empty the glass. Because the second is not good as good.
I used to always find about the 7th or 8th pint started to taste the best. But after 10 it starts to get a little bit not so good.
Should have done a headland.
I remember this weird time once when I was out with some friends one evening. Many years ago, this goes back many years ago. We was in this bar, and we was drinking and having conversations and stuff, and we stood there. And I don't know how many drinks we'd actually had. We probably had a few. But this one moment where I'm talking to them, and we're having this conversation, and I'm talking to them, telling them this story. And I've got the drink in my hand, my pint glass, and everything. And I'm talking, and I'm at that point in the conversation where, you know, where you start using your hands to explain things? You start getting very, you know, sign languagey, and you're starting to demonstrate stuff because you've had a bit too much to drink. You start using your hands more to talk. Well, I was at that stage, and I remember, for whatever reason, I decided that one hand wasn't enough to explain what it was that I was trying to explain. So I let go of my glass to use my other hand to explain what I wanted to explain. And
What do you mean?
Funny. This glass seemed
You dropped the glass?
This glass seemed to stay in the air for several seconds. It just seemed to float there. And I looked at it and thought, that's a bit weird. And at that moment, that's when it fell to the ground and smashed everywhere. And of course, everybody else in the bar turns around and goes, hey! Because you've dropped your drink. But it was so weird. I remember, like, I'm talking, I let go of it, I'm explaining it, and then I look back and think, that's weird how that glass is just there. And then it's like... And I turned around to everybody else and was like, did you see that? And everybody else, and I think everybody else must have had the same amount of drinks, because they were all convinced that they saw the glass just floating there as well. They're all convinced. They were like, that was so weird.
The problem is, the thing is that in the Matrix, they never expected you to drop the glass. So they didn't program it in.
That's that's kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that would make you think you are living in the Matrix world. Like you've just discovered a bug. You've just discovered a glitch in the code.
There was a no gravity bug for this class. Oh man!
You've just discovered the bug, and now you've got to go see the old. You've got to go see the old guy with the white beard to get him to fix it.
But that's just the weird thing with programmers. I mean, my son is also sort of a programmer. Whatever you explain him, he puts down on the level of programming. Yeah? He tries to explain it with programming, and he would come up with. They probably forgot to have the physics for this class with the normal gravity. Just forgot to program it. No, guy, you're living in the real world. That is not possible. It's nothing to do with programming. But you have this, when you have an accident, you have sometimes the feeling that it's going in slow motion.
Yeah.
When you fall down or fall from a bike. I had this several times that I could do everything like roll around and don't fall on your head, but most of the time you fall on your head.
Well,
but it's slow motion.
I definitely had that slow motion experience when I had my car accident. Definitely had that.
I can imagine,
especially when, like I say, when the car was going sideways, when it turned sideways but was still going forward. And I just remember, I vividly remember being sat at the wheel, thinking, like looking left and right, thinking, this feels weird. I'm facing that way, but I'm moving that way. That feels very weird. And then when it got to the point where obviously I was going sideways at a speed that was greater than the vehicle's centre of gravity would allow, and basically the car started to tip up and started to roll to the right, that was also in slow motion. Felt gravity shifting as I started. And at that point I was like, uh-oh, this is going to be bad. And then I don't remember anything after that point. That was the last bit I remembered. Until I woke up on the floor. Well, it wasn't the floor, it was the ceiling of the car I woke up on. Because the car was upside down.
And you woke up in the car then?
Yeah.
Okay. Not just in the hospital?
No, I woke up in the car because I had the emergency people tending to me. I remember that much. And I remembered I could hear all the noise going on around me as obviously the fire brigade were trying to take the doors off and cut the car to pieces to get me out. Then I remembered I remember a voice saying to me, okay, the fire brigade are going to take the boot off now so we can slide you out of the car. It's going to get very noisy now, but just keep still. And I remembered that bit, and then not a great deal. And then I remembered being on the air ambulance, the helicopter, being taken to the hospital.
But from the point of impact,
From the point of
where you
impact,
lost consciousness, it must have been 15 minutes or so.
I don't know. I don't know.
Whatever it takes for them for the ambulance and whatever to come.
How long was that for? But it was ever so surreal because, like, when I got to the hospital after the accident and that, the rest of that day, and even the next 2 days, it didn't seem real. I honestly thought I was having a dream. And I was like, I'm just dreaming this. I'm just going to wake up in a minute and I'm going to be at home. And
I think that's your brain is protecting you in this case, I think.
I'm going to wake up in a minute and I'm going to be at home and it's going to be a normal Wednesday morning and I'm going to get up and just go to work like normal, and no doubt at some point during the day I'll tell my colleagues about this dream and then we'll all have a laugh about it. No, it didn't turn out like that at all. It turned out to be very real. Obviously the worst,
I guess also the brain recognizes that something bad happened, and it keeps you in a kind of a cushion, like let's pretend to him that it's just a dream. Because if he realizes it's not a dream, he freaks out.
But I guess in most situations though, once you've been in that situation where you've had the accident and then you're in the hospital, at that point you're like, okay, it's all good from here. We're going to get better now. Things are going to get better. Yes, I know, I heard you. Wait a second until I've finished this field. But yeah, in most situations, once you're in the hospital, you go, yeah, that's it now. Everything's going to get better now. You're going to recover. Didn't happen for me. I got to the hospital. I got to the hospital and was in, I was in one condition. After a few days in hospital, they'd made me worse. They actually made me far worse.
Probably not on purpose.
No, just fucking negligence, that's all it was, just negligence. Should have sued them.
So the other field we seed?
Corn on that one, I would suggest.
Okay.
Because like that will be the third harvest on that field anyway that we've done, because we started with that field having sunflowers on it. So that was our first harvest, was sunflowers. We then did soybeans as our second harvest. So if we do corn as our third harvest, we're going to need to plough anyway after the third harvest, so might as well kill two birds with one stone.
Why are you parking your thing?
Because my dinner is ready and I need to go and have my dinner. And unfortunately it's not something I'm going to be able to bring and eat at my desk tonight because it's soup, and if I tried to bring it and eat it at my desk I'd end up spilling it everywhere. So unfortunately I am going to have to call it a night and say my part of today's stream is over. Pop my little sprayer back and off my bacons. Give the tractor a quick wash. We're putting it in the shed with our fancy pressure washer.
The good thing is you can park the pressure washer in front of all this equipment and do almost the whole row.
Yeah, you could do a whole row of vehicles with that thing. And you can park it wherever you need it, which is also good. Put that there. So there we go. From me, myself and I, thank you to everyone who's tuned into today's stream. and watched and participated. Thank you, Tapir, for the follow. Thank you for Mr. Helgi for his excellent contributions again to the file and all the work he's
You're
done
welcome.
over the last
My
day and
my
today
pleasure.
as well. So thank you, Mr. Helgi, as usual. I will see you all again very soon. And like I say, if you do want to watch some other stuff, feel free to head over to the YouTube channel. There's plenty of videos on there. Farm sim and other things as well that you can waste many hours of your time watching. or, you know, if you just want to watch only the first 5 minutes, you can do as well. You know, if you don't want to watch to the end, you can just watch the first 5 minutes like Mr. Helgi. You know,
Just leave a thumbs up.
just leave a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe and, you know, share the video then with other people who can only watch the first 5 minutes as well. So,
Have a good dinner.
yeah, I will. Thank you very much, everybody. Goodbye. Good
You're
evening.
welcome. Bye.